Hey everybody, I'm Andy. This is PodSquad, a show about how teens think. I was forced to come and be the host. Today's episode is about AI anxiety. Let's hit the intro. So today's topic is AI anxiety, and we are joined by Tyler Vu, who is a sophomore at Princeton right now. Congrats. Can you introduce yourself, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. But I'm a junior now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So hi, my name is Tyler. I'm a junior at Princeton University studying computer science.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have a little focus on AI, but I'm pretty happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so as an icebreaker, can you answer me some yes or no questions about AI and IT and computer programming in general?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So most people think that an IT person is more antisocial. Do you think that's true?
I think it depends on the person, honestly. So
okay. Yeah. Do you think someone from IT normally knows many things from the internet?
I think they do. I think they spend a lot of time on there.
Yeah. Most people say an IT is a professional who knows a lot about math. Is that true for you?
Nah. I mean, I know a lot of math, but I don't think it's necessary. I haven't used it so far. Not for programming, at least.
When I did it by myself, I used Java and Python as well, but I only mostly did it for math related things, like for tests like AP and stuff. Okay. So that required a lot of math. Yeah. And then, is Silicon Valley your dream?
No, actually, I think I want to avoid Silicon Valley.
Why?
I think a lot of companies are kind of moving out of Silicon. I see a lot of kind of tech spots in Seattle and New York.
Oh, okay.
Maybe also Chicago. So yeah. I'm interested in that.
Some of us think that any IT can install Windows OS. Is that true?
Not me. I struggled with it when I was building my own PC. Okay. So I'd ask for help.
Okay. So how was your first experience when you first heard about AI in general?
I mean, it was pretty cool. I think a lot of people kind of base the idea of AI off of what we see in movies and stuff. So yeah. I think there's a lot of potential there and a lot of sort of excitement around it.
When was this? When did you first hear about it?
I feel like we all kind of grew up watching certain movies like Terminator, like Iron Man and stuff like that. And that's our first kind of vision of AI.
Yeah, and then it shaped us how we think about it as well. There's also things like Jarvis and Iron Man, or even Terminator or Ultron and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So are there any books or TV shows or any other movies that I don't know, inspired you to go into AI?
I can't say many movies off the top of my head. It's also kind of hard just kind of on the spot. But
maybe games instead then for you.
I think games. I mean, I played a lot of games, so I think it just kind of a close neighboring field. So I think that definitely helped me get into this sort of field.
In school, there's something common for us is that I see AI being used a lot for studying in general, I don't know, ChatGPT or even stuff like Quillbot. Is that true for your school as well?
I mean, we have a thing called honor code, and that's considered cheating for us.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's explicitly kind of said by the professor. For example, I haven't been able to use ChatGPT in any of the classes, except for one, which was my Christianity class, and she was go ahead and use. It actually wasn't ChatGPT, but still OpenAI. It was DALL-E.
Oh, okay.
And she was giving us certain religious texts, and she was I want you to go ahead and use an AI generated image and just kind of talk about it. And, I thought that was really cool because not a lot of professors are really embracing this idea because it's a new field. Another thing is one of the students at Princeton, Edward Tian, he created GPT-0, which detects ChatGPT written text. So yeah, we have to be careful on what exactly we use it for too.
Yeah, because our school also has something similar. It's turn it in or something along those lines where it tracks if you copied stuff or if a bot wrote it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, other than that, are there any like more examples, like, I don't know, even assistants like Siri or Snapchat AI?
Yeah. I haven't had the chance to play around with the Snapchat AI. I've
Yeah.
seen it, but I think, you know, I've grown up like kind of playing around with Siri and like trying to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
like those weird sort of text prompts that'll give a funny answer. But
Yep.
yeah.
Then how do you, like, there's something like I'm curious about, like, for example, if you're searching a prompt for an essay, wouldn't that be okay? Like, give me a prompt for like an essay that I want to write for a school or something like that. Wouldn't that be okay in your school?
I think for ideation, it's not bad. Although like it's kind of a blurred line just because it's so new, right? For me, I use it a lot to like write a lot of my emails.
Oh, okay.
Especially to my professors.
Yep.
But yeah.
How do you use, other than like writing emails and stuff, how do you normally use AI in your like life or like work?
You know, I've been working on a lot of personal projects dealing with like computer science and stuff. So I've been trying to like test the capabilities of kind of like how well it can code.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that a lot this summer, but also like job applications and stuff like that. Those cover letters, I get tired of having to write one for every company.
Yeah.
So I just have it like, I give it all my information, which probably isn't the best, but it's fine. And then just have it write it for me.
Can you tell me more about how you use, how you might use AI in like software development in general?
Yeah. I think it's kind of, I think AI is helpful in the sense to where it could give you kind of like a brief overview or at least point you in the correct direction. I do think that a lot of these natural language processing models, or like ChatGPT, for example, is like really in the early stages to where like you can't do too much with it. But I mean, like if it'll output code, right? But you don't know if it's correct unless like you actually know how to code.
No, I actually asked it. I have an ChatGPT account, so like I asked it to make me a program. Like the simpler ones it can do, but then like the more complex one it can't. Yeah,
a lot of people say it kind of outputs a lot of spaghetti code. But
what do you think are some jobs that might be replaced by AI in the future?
You know, I think it's hard to kind of say if a job is going to be replaced by AI, because I think it has like a certain I know you've played around with a lot of ChatGPT, so it's like if it gives you a wrong answer, it sounds very confident that it's correct.
Yeah.
So there has to be like some sort of human verification for it. Although I do think that it'll make that sort of job market a lot like more competitive. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of this AI can be used to kind of like lower that entry to that barrier to entry. For example, like software engineering, which is like the kind of industry that I'm in, right? It's already oversaturated, but with say like if AI gets better at coding and stuff like that, right? It won't necessarily take our jobs, but it'll make it a lot easier for other people to kind of like come in, and they don't need to go like learn all of this if they have AI to aid them.
Then like, do you think at that point the most people who are successful are the people who know how to use AI, or the people who know how to code? Like say like there's a robot who can help you to code, then if that's the case, the person who comes in and like actually uses the robot, do you think that person would be better than the person who actually knows how to code?
I think actually knowing how to code is going to beat out that person that just kind of like uses AI all the time.
Yeah.
But I think a nice mix is going to be like the kind of ultimate weapon, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of knowing both sides of the realm and using it.
How do you think about in the realm of like robots in general? Like what kind of jobs might be replaced by like robots in general?
I feel like that's such a broad question. I do see like, I mean, I've seen a lot of AI in, I guess like the past couple of years, if not maybe a decade. I don't know how long it's been, but like self-driving cars. So I think that's quite interesting. One of the larger sort of fields is like trucking and stuff. And I know there's been a lot of money dumped into like research for these self-driving trucks to go ahead and like have these large shipments across whatever country.
Like, okay, so many computer engineers are also like, I think, affected by AI. So as like a computer science undergraduate, what are your thoughts about this?
You know, I think instead of like being scared of AI. I think it's kind of good to kind of embrace it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as you said, like you're kind of using it in your schoolwork and stuff like that. It's not like something that we can avoid. So I think just embracing it and really seeing the potential, I think that's going to be pretty big.
How do you think this is gonna change in like the next few years?
You know, one of the interesting things is like, sorry, I keep talking about ChatGPT, but it's just such a huge thing in the AI space right now. But yeah, if you look at ChatGPT, right, the T in it stands for Transformers. Not like the movie, but yeah, that technology isn't like exactly like new, like within the past year. It was actually, I think, released back in 2017 from a group of researchers at Google. So it's just like, you know, we're finally catching up with technology. So I think there's going to be a lot of potential. I'm pretty excited for it. Yeah.
Like, let's say by the time I enter, like, I graduated and everything, do you think AI would be more like prevalent in like the daily lives of normal people?
I don't think it, like you say, like 3 to 5 years. I don't think it'll be like extremely prevalent. I think certain industries will like use the tool, but it won't like it's more like something to help them rather than like something that they rely on. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of these industries that are working fine as is are going to be very reluctant to change. Even like, for example, like the healthcare system, very reluctant to change. Like if you look at like the infrastructure that they use, it's pretty outdated. Like even like minus AI, it still feels outdated. So,
do you, then if that's the case, what skills do you think is like essential for I don't know, people like me when we actually graduate outside of school to have? Like, for instance, like adaptability, maybe like to use AI in a way that's like more effective.
Yeah. You know, I think it's always good to kind of like stay open to a lot of different things. Like, as you said, like kind of using AI to kind of help you in whatever. But also, I think one thing that AI can't replace is creativity.
Yeah.
Like that's very hard for AI to replicate. So
then do you think that's one of the key things of us, other than like feelings and emotions, that would never be replaced by AI?
I think so. Yeah.
It's like, okay, say like the reality of the movie WALL-E becomes true. Then do you think creativity and feelings and emotions is all that we'll have against AI?
I mean, I guess. I feel like the case of WALL-E is very interesting. But I guess not too far-fetched.
Yeah. Do you think in terms of our physical condition, and you think we will look like that?
I hope not. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but
like if that's the case, then like if AI like actually grows a lot, then I think it'll do a lot of the thinking for us. Like when we think critically and like objectively, not like creatively. Do you think that's like right or wrong?
There's a lot in that question. Can you repeat that?
Like in terms of our thinking, I think like in the future when AI is more advanced, it'll do like some of it for us, like to think critically and like objectively. Do you think like that's gonna be true?
I think it can perform some of the more like technical things that humans do, but I think at the end of the day, like it's not going to replace humans in its entirety. Another thing, you were talking about like the physical state. I think that with AI like being kind of like implemented into our lives, like it'll make it a lot easier, or hopefully, to where it might be able to like allow us to have more time for like certain things that we might enjoy, and like hopefully, like I don't know, like maybe people might be interested more like going outside or like like sports or doing whatever. Like
what do you think about like AI in like other branches like art or music? In general,
I think it's very interesting. It's actually one of the things that I've been wanting to explore. My roommates are music majors, so I think it's pretty interesting, especially like I see like some people combining like their knowledge of music theory and like AI. So because
because like There's a machine, I think you know, that's similar to ChatGPT that makes art instead. And like the thing is like it fuses many, I guess, like the information it gets from the internet into like these pictures to create what we want. Like, what do you think is the ethical like thing behind that?
Yeah, I know a lot of. I can't really speak much on ethical stuff because like I haven't put that much thought into it, if I'm honest. I do know that a lot of countries are kind of handling it differently.
The other thing that I mentioned was like music in general. Like, so I've actually heard some of like the music it makes. It's pretty like similar. So what I listened to was like Drake's actual made song and then his like AI song version. And then like I think it's actually pretty similar. And I don't know how you would like do it ethically, but I guess it's more of like something that somebody created for fun more than like that doesn't really need to be to give much thought about.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I know like some artists, I think like Ice Cube got mad at like somebody creating AI to like replicate a lot of his style. So I think, you know, it's kind of easy to point out like a lot of these problems or like ethical problems that we'll run into with AI, but like running into solutions or like finding a lot of these solutions is going to be a lot harder. And I think, you know, with a lot of this coming on with like the last year, this is going to be an interesting space to kind of watch and grow. What is it? I think somebody, it might be, I think the CEO of OpenAI, he went to a hearing and a lot of the people were kind of like, yo, like, there's all these problems with OpenAI when it runs into ethics. He's like, and they're like, oh, we need more rules. And he agreed. Yeah. Right. So it's kind of like, they're kind of dumbfounded from there and they didn't really have any solutions to present. So I think it's something that we kind of have to think long and hard about and like be careful about, but I also don't think it's like something to be too scared about.
I think like one of the more refined skills of ChatGPT right now is like the way that it can give facts. Do you think it will replace teachers one day?
No, I don't. My personally, my attention like the way I pay attention in class, or like the rate, I guess, is like really bad already. I think if a robot's teaching me, it's just gonna plummet. Like I'm not learning anything.
Because like it's important. Because I think a teacher like I don't think a teacher would be replaced by AI in general. Because like a teacher needs to know how to think for their students. Also, other than like the fact that it's just a robot giving out facts. Yeah. So I'm gonna study in the US in like September, the fall this year. How do you think of your experience there, in general? Yeah,
I mean, growing up, I spent my entire life in the States, so I think like that transition to high school wasn't like that dramatic. But I do think like it was a great place for me to kind of like find who I was and like explore whatever I was interested in. Yeah.
Because like the thing for me is next year I'm leaving my friends that I made for 9 years now, and I'm going to the boarding school for like 3 years. Yeah, probably, and then I think I'm coming back or like going to university or something like that. Do you board at your school or no?
I didn't go to a boarding school, if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Then how do you think are like the teachers and stuff at your school?
The teachers, some of them are good, some of them are bad. I think it's always a gamble. I've been fortunate enough to have some really good teachers, just kind of like help me grow and stuff like that. And then the other half is like, oh, I have to do a lot of self-learning. You're like, if I'm bored, then I'm just like doing whatever else in class. But yeah.
How do you think of like the community there in general then?
Community in like high school?
Yeah.
So I went to 2 different high schools. I went to a private school for my first 2 years and then a public school for the second 2.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone felt pretty welcoming.
Yeah.
At both. Even though like some people had already had like formed like friend groups from a while back, I think it was pretty easy to sort of acclimate into that environment and make new friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How'd you find like the learning at your school in general, like the courses and stuff? Was it hard or because like you haven't went even like you've never went to school in Vietnam. How do you think that would compare to like school in Vietnam? Do you think that would be harder or like easier or what?
I don't really have any knowledge from
the
education system in Vietnam to base off of, but I mean, I think my experience in high school has kind of prepared me for my life in college, because I think like, you know, Princeton is one of the more academically like rigorous sort of institutions, but I think like it's not like a huge jump for me. Like I think there's obviously like that sort of like gap to where I have to adjust to, but it wasn't like, oh, like this is so different for me. So yeah, but at the same time I did a lot in high school. For my courses, I think, you know, it really depends, because I think what was technically like my harder courses was more interesting for me. So like I didn't mind spending a lot more time into it, right? But like it's like it was like my quote unquote like easier courses that I actually ended up not liking as much and were more difficult for me, just because I didn't want to spend that much time in it.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so you're Vietnamese, right?
Yeah, I'm Vietnamese American.
Part or
full?
Then do you like visit Vietnam a lot? Did you visit Vietnam a lot during your time in like studying over there?
Yeah, actually this is my first time to visiting Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
That's actually the reason why I picked up the internship here.
Yeah.
Just because like I felt like I hadn't been that connected to my roots, and I really wanted to kind of engage in the culture here.
Yeah.
And learn a little more about my people.
Yeah. How's the internship?
The internship was great. Today was actually my last day.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the last 2 months have been great. I had a great team. I loved working with them.
When
I learned a lot.
are you flying to the US?
I fly to the US in like 2 weeks, because I'll go to Thailand first and then I'll fly back to Vietnam with my parents.
So like around September?
Yeah, because I start school, or I have to be back on campus at like beginning of September. So
okay, same. That's why I'm going to like China first, and then later after that a week free, and then later going to school.
Okay, nice. Where are you going in China?
I'm going to hike with my dad on some random mountain, I don't know, and then visiting the city.
Okay.
Yeah. Do most high school kids like wake up normally? Like
like what do you mean?
Saying that, I mean like my dad kind of enforces the thing that like we go at 6:45, exercise, eat, start your day, and then like the rest is normal. But then like I feel most high school kids wake up at 8, don't eat at all, and then later start their day.
I think it's honestly dependent on kind of like whatever your schedule is. You're going to a boarding school, so I mean you're going to be on your own, so that's completely on you. But for me, I mean I said like my dad drive me to school for like my first 2 years, right? And then I got my driver's license to where I drove from there. But like first 2 years, my dad, or technically I was supposed to wake up on my own. Yeah. But like if I wanted like another 10 minutes, I just kind of like hit snooze, and then my dad comes in mad and like, yo, wake up. But yeah, I mean, my schedule in high school, I'd wake up at like 6, practice soccer, eat breakfast, very light breakfast, and then I'll drive to school with my friends. We'd all carpool together at like 7:15, get there at 7:30. Yeah. Or 7:30, 7:45. But yeah, but like when I was in the last 2 years of high school, I was also at a community college. I was doing dual enrollment. Yeah. So my class didn't technically start till like 11 a.m. Oh, okay. Because this was actual college classes, right? Yeah. But that means I would take all the sleep I could get. I'm waking up at like 10:30, like rolling out of bed, and I'll drive to school like no breakfast. So, you know, it's dependent on you. Yeah.
Other than that, how's like science at the US?
Science? Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what to compare it to for like Vietnam, but I personally enjoyed the sciences a lot. But again, like your experience is going to be kind of based off of like what your interests are and if you have a good professor. Yeah. Like I had a really good teacher for chemistry, and I think at one point I was considering kind of like majoring in chemistry when going to college, but then computer science came. But yeah. So it's very dependent on that. I think I had like a good chemistry teacher in high school and then a bad one in college. And then after college, I was like, I don't want to do it. Yeah. like leave me alone.
So thanks for coming to the show. Before you go, is there anything you would like to say to the audience watching, if there's any?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
yeah, no, I think AI is definitely interesting. There's a lot of potential. So yeah, just kind of stay open to everything.
Hopefully I can see you in the fall. Where are you taking your education right now?
I mean, I'll still be at Princeton, so not too far of a commute from you.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be up there. So
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.